Hello, thanks for joining me. In this video, I've got a little something different for you. A few months ago, I got a call from my friend Marco, who's out working in Woodstock Boatyard in Antigua. Sam Masterman, the owner of Woodstock, was trying to find someone to fly out to the Dominican Republic and help repair a boat that had been stranded there for 2 years. After a few telephone calls with both Sam and the owner of the boat, I decided I'd fly out there with my tools and some help in the form of my good friend Adam Wallace. The crux of the job was that the boat was stranded on the hard after sitting in the water for 2 years unattended. She's a wooden boat, so had suffered some rot and also some teredo worm. We landed in Puerto Plata and got a taxi into Luperon to take a look. Here we are in Luperon in the Dominican Republic, and we've come to fix this boat, this Olsen 35. The biggest problem was that there was rot in the horn timber and also some of the planks. It was going to be a new experience working under an armed guard as well. First things first, we needed to take down the mizzen to expose the mast step and the horn timber underneath. To do this, first we needed to take off the stays and then undo any electrical wires that were heading up the mast. After this, we set about exposing the fixings from the planks into the horn timber so that we could start undoing them, take some of the offending planks out and expose the horn timber. At this point, I should probably mention we only have 4 weeks to complete everything. The brief is to get the boat into a state where she can safely go back into the water. She will then be sailed to Antigua for a proper refit. I should also say it's quite unusual for me to go abroad to work. But never having been to the DR before, or the Caribbean for that matter, I thought it would be an interesting adventure and a nice excuse to get out of England in the winter time. So, with my wife's blessing, I went for it. After revealing the plugs, it was time to knock them out and then unscrew the screws that could be screwed out. As to be expected, there were lots of corroded fastenings. Once we'd removed all the screws we could on the stern, we turned our attention to the bow, as the hood end screws needed to be replaced. What are you doing there, Wallace?
Trying to get these screws out.
How's it going?
But out of all those, I've taken one whole one out, a couple of head snaps, and a couple of spinners. And the rest aren't coming out.
That's annoying. Sorry to hear that. Due to corrosion, not all screws could be taken out. What this means is we'll have to re-plug them and then insert new screws in between the original positions. A couple days into the project, we were booked in with a cab driver who was going to take us to Santiago and a sawmill to try and buy some timber for the new horn beam. Seeing as we had no workbench, we thought we should also try and buy something we could use as trestles, and found these old table stands. With the timber purchased and brought back to the boatyard, I set about laminating the three pieces. We couldn't get something big enough for the piece we wanted, so I got three pieces that I'm going to glue together. This meant I had to get them as flat, level and true as I could before gluing. I wasn't able to bring a level or a straight edge with me, so I had a look around the yard and found this piece of glass which worked pretty well. Here we're wiping the timber down with acetone prior to gluing. This helps to get rid of the timber's natural oils, which can hinder the gluing process sometimes. We put the old life raft on there as an extra weight to help induce a bit of a curve into the timber. We left that alone for a day to let the glue go off and turned our attention to other things. So that is where the mast step was and the floor timber, and the wide piece of timber Wallace's hand has just gone by is the horn timber that we need to take out and replace. With all of the screws out that we could get out, we turned our attention to removing the nails. Bit more? It was then time to remove the bolts which secure the floor timbers to the horn. As with the bow, not all of the screws could be removed on the stern. So what I did was to cut along the horn timber so I could then remove some of the horn timber and get out the screws from the side. Some of the horn timbers come out. Just need to remove this piece and then cut a scarf onto there. Join them, 2 new floors going across there, and then planks. These planks will be cut back a bit further. They're just cut back temporarily so we could get a saw in to cut out the old horn timber. But that's where we're at the minute. Here he goes. Wallace is taking the nut off. Oh. I'm on it. What's happening here is the screws that we couldn't get out from the bottom are being cut from the side. We can then remove the rest of the horn timber. Just a little bit more of the horn timber to go, but it's helping to hold the transom up at the moment. Another job that needed to be done was partial recorking. There were some areas on the stern post and the stem and along a few of the planks that needed to be redone. This meant the old cotton and putty had to come out, new cotton put in, and then new putty applied. This is what we're doing here. So all the planks that are coming out are out. Just got to take a little bit more of that one off where the skin fitting is, so forward of the skin fitting. And then some of these are going to have to go back a bit more, but essentially that is it. We can start putting it back together as soon as the timber for the planks arrives. Another job that needed doing was to remake one of the floors that was rotten. So using the old one as a template, I set about knocking one up. The first thing to do was simply draw around it to give me the basic shape. I already had the width.
Pongan atención, señores, lo que le voy a cantar. El merengue caña brava es muy bueno de bailar. Pongan atención, señores, lo que le voy a cantar. El merengue caña brava es muy bueno de bailar. Caña dulce, caña brava, caña dulce, caña brava, dame un gajo de tu caña, dame un gajo de tu caña. Voy a poner un molino en la carretera, voy a poner un molino en la carretera, va a moler mi caña de 20 maneras, va a moler mi caña de 20 maneras. Caña dulce, caña brava, caña dulce, caña brava, dame un gajo de tu caña, dame un gajo de tu caña. Voy a poner un molino pa' caña moler, voy a poner un molino pa' caña moler, porque en Montevideo caramba se quemó el bajé, porque en Montevideo se quemó un bajé. ¡Ajá!
Hey presto. So another thing we'd noticed, which wasn't on the list, is that while we were at the boat, young fledgling woodpeckers were hanging onto the mast and starting to make holes in it, so Wallace went up to take a closer look. This is going to have to be dealt with, but sadly we're not going to have time to do it. This here is the old mizzen mast step. It had rotted because fresh water had been rolling down the mizzen mast onto the mast step and then onto the horn timber and the frame, etc. below. So I set about making a new one of these also. New mast step with drainage limber hole. I just thought I'd explain a little bit about what we brought, because we were limited to 46 kilograms, so 2 lots of 23. So just bought some basic 18-volt power tools so we could charge the batteries over here. Jigsaw, sander, electric planer, angle grinder, drill. Bought first aid kit, obviously. A selection of hand planes, a little rebate plane there. Some Marples Irwin chisels, which can also be used with a hammer, so I wouldn't have to bring a mallet. Some drills, an assortment of sockets, some clamps, obviously all the stuff we need for nailing, so rove punches and dollies like this, so on. Then a selection of hand tools, so of course combination square, tape measure, Stanley knife, scrapers, hammer, selection of screwdrivers, sliding bevel, little pull saw. Obviously we haven't got a multi-tool, which is very handy, so we've got a little hand hacksaw. That's pretty much it really. We did borrow a circular saw, which made life easier, but we haven't had to use a thicknesser, which is good. So there we are, that's it so far. Please join us next video where we'll be putting in the horn timber and installing the planks, and hopefully meeting the deadline. Thank you everyone for watching, and thank you so much for everyone that donates on Patreon and GoFundMe. When I'm back home in my office, I'll make sure that I give you the video you deserve with your name scrolling up on the screen. But for now, I hope to see you again soon. Bye.